Hey YouTube, Yu-Gi-Oh! Rocks 97 coming at you with a Frogology video, and it might be shaky once again because I still don't have my camera stand because it still broke. So yeah, it might be a little shaky, but I'm here to talk about a rather important subject for frogs, and that is how will the deck compete after Tachyon Galaxy hits the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scene. So here's I'm going to show you guys how the deck fares without changes to my build, because I mean all builds are different, but from my build what I'll have to change, and how the deck just generally competes and fares against Prophecy and the big one, Elemental Dragons, which will probably give every deck a hard time. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're gonna start with Prophecy because it'll be faster to run through. And this is the only card I have to represent Prophecy, guys. Sorry, I am broke. If it would, yeah, okay. I'm broke, so yeah. That's going to represent Prophecy. We'll just leave that over here as a visual image for you guys. Against Prophecy, Prophecy are going to be Prophecy. The Frog Monarchs shouldn't have too hard of a time, and, you know, visual image of Frog Monarchs, we'll choose Caius. Shouldn't have too hard of a time. The only thing that should give it really a problem is the fact that these guys main Veiler. I mean, you're going to be maining Veiler as well, but the fact that they main Veiler can really be a nuisance for your guys, because you have to get rid of their Priestess, and and you'd like to think that this card's good against them, but the fact that Priestess can just infinite negate Lad is a huge problem. So Lad most of the time will be really good against Prophecy, giving your deck a really good edge. But if they have the Priestess and 3 spell books, then your Lad's just gonna get pooped on. I mean, that's pretty much how the deck fares. I mean, you're probably not gonna wanna main Maxis, or I mean, you're gonna main Maxis, but you probably wanna side them out against this. I don't think they're that good against them. But yeah, against Prophecy, I mean, Frog Monarchs have a really good matchup against Sacky decks like Prophecy because of cards like Battle Fader. Really good against all their plays, and yeah, Gores, Trag, although those aren't as good as Battle Fader because they're just going to get popped. They're still pretty good overall. And your Prophecy matchup after Tachyon, you just gotta, I don't want to say sack them, but use cards like Degusto Emerald to push as much damage. Oh, I said Emerald. Degusto Phoenix. It will push as much damage on the board. Let's say you Caius their monster, leaving them open. You pitch a frog for swap, get Ronin, banish, make Degusto Phoenix. That is 54 damage, and 54 puts them at 26. From that point, you can pretty much just Frog Monarch them, or just Monarch them, and just keep pushing for damage. Get them low enough to just win. And it won't matter how plus they are with Judgment Day, because you just pretty much sacked them. With Degusto Phoenix and Frogs can really just sack your opponent real well. So that's pretty much how the Prophecy matchup works. That's not the real problem coming out of Tachyon. The real problem is, my only card to represent it, this deck, Elemental Dragons, that's going to destroy everything it sees. One thing we should note is the deck, we have a card in Frogs that has betrayed us, Lad. It's found a new best friend over here. The Lad in Elemental Dragons is ridiculous. They go Degusto, I don't know why I'm saying Degusto, Dragosack, and then they just sack the 2 tokens for Lad. If you already have Treeborn, their Lad isn't a problem. In fact, it's really easy to get over, and you can just do really well against it. But if you don't have Treeborn, it's really hard to get engraved because you can't use Swap Frog. You have to draw the Treeborn, and it's really hard to just get over a Lad when they're swinging for 56 every turn. So you have to watch out for that. It's a big problem. You're going to want to play these. With these, you're hopefully main decking both of these. They don't have to be, shiny maxis. You're going to definitely want to be running all of these. All of those possible. One topping build only ran one trag. You're probably going to want to play two now, even though they can just big eye it. It'll save you. And gores, you're going to want to run all of those just so you can not get OTK'd and so you can plus off of them. And they might not even go off with their plays if they do that. Dark Dust is really good against them. So that's like, you're going to have to play Dark Dust if you weren't already. I'm pretty sure every build plays Dark Dust, but some people consider it a tech card still. I think it's definitely staple. You're going to want to play Dark Dust Spirit. And just generally, the deck should have an okay matchup just because frogs, you know, just having cards like Caius are a general good out to decks that spam a lot of monsters on field. Like, when X Sabers are big, frogs could do something because Battle Fade or Caius could pretty much get Battle Fade or Econ Caius could pretty much get over any field. But the fact with Elemental Dragons is after you get rid of their field, they banish everything from grave, get a hand back, and still make their plays. So sometimes it's just too much for frogs to handle, which is why Maxi is really good. I'm going to be playing 3 when they're out. And changes to the spell lineup that will have to be made is, where's my spells, guys? I don't think I will be playing 3 Soul Exchange. Good reason being against Prophecy. They set the, I don't really remember what it's called right now, but it protects them from Wisdom. It protects them from spells. So this really is just going to be dead. I'd probably drop this down to 2 because you're not always going to be playing Prophecy or Elemental Dragons. You're not playing this against Elemental Dragons at 3 because, well, they spam too many monsters on the field just for you not to have a battle phase and try to inflict as much damage as possible. I'd probably be taking one of these out for a 3rd Econ. It kills some consistency in the deck, hardly any. I mean, it really doesn't change the consistency at all. I mean, I like to think it does, which is why I play 3 Soul Exchange over the 3rd Econ. But I'd probably bump this up to 3 once Tachyon comes, because you're really just going to need that extra push, take their Big Eye, because they both make Big Eye. You can take their Big Eye, take their monster, just go for a bunch of damage. And yeah, I'd also make some changes to the frog lineup. Now, even when the deck, when frogs topped, I never made a video about how I feel about that build, but I guess I'll just explain it here. I like the build in some ways. I didn't like the main deck Jinzo. I mean, I side it for good reasons, but I didn't like it main decked as much. And the one thing that kind of I love the 3 Maxi. That was a great idea. Okay, sorry guys, I had someone come in my room. So that's why this video got a little edited. Yeah, so I love the 3 Maxi. I thought that was great to be playing. However, I didn't really like the 3 Treeborn and no dupe frogs and played a Foolish. My build currently right now to play the Veilers and Maxi is cut down to 2 dupe. I'm not really playing this deck right now, but I did make a little build of it. So yeah, I didn't like the fact that they took out dupe for 3 Treeborn and a Foolish. And then I really looked into it, and I was like, okay, 3 Treeborn's good, so I wanted to take a dupe out for a Treeborn. But I wanted to play 1 dupe over the Foolish, because I really don't like Foolish Burial. I didn't think it was, even though it was faster, Frog Monarchs have always been able to slow roll and put their opponent on their speed, so that you don't really have any problems of the fact being they're faster than you, because you're just going to control them and plus more than they can, and win the game like that. Now, I might take this dupe out for a Foolish Burial just to get your Frog Engine as fast as possible so you can just push for as much damage. Again, Degusto Phoenix, if you don't own one, go get it. It's how you win against these sacky decks because it makes you able to sack like really hard. 3,000 damage. Let's say, it could be even more. Just say you like Caius once in the game and hit for damage and they only put 1 monster on board. You can Ryza 1 monster, pitch something for Swap Frog, Ronin Totem, Degusto Phoenix, target your Ryza. At least I hope Degusto Phoenix can target Ryza. I haven't read Degusto Phoenix in a long time, but I think it can. Ryza is a wind, so I'd figure it can. That's 4815, that's 6,300. If you've Caiused and hit for damage once, that's game. You have to sack these decks, because if you don't, they'll be 2+, they're too fast for frogs. But no matter what format, no matter what decks are out, frogs are always going to be able to compete. People are just now starting to see that, I guess, with all the topping builds recently, which the 2 topping builds seem too similar for me. However, I did get something from them. After I do want to play 3 of this now. Maybe the Foolish, it depends how it works. But definitely 3 Treeborn. You need it too much now. And I also want to play 3 Max C. I wasn't playing 3 Max C at first, but I'm playing 3 Max C now because Elemental Dragons are going to be the gayest deck that ever existed ever. They don't normal summon unless it's a lad, which is just retarded. There's a few different builds of it, but they are just probably one of the most broken decks I have ever seen in my time of Yu-Gi-Oh! I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! During Teledad format, and Teledad right now doesn't seem... Teledad will probably win more YCSs or Shonens at the time than any other deck will consecutively in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just for how long the deck kind of lasted. But these dragons are far more scarier than I can ever imagine Teledad being. Teledad, put Stardust on the board. This deck is putting out multiple Big Eyes, Drago Sacks, any rank 7. If any other broken rank 7 comes out, they're just going to be too good. The deck can just OTK like it's nothing. And it's just straight up annoying. Frog Monarchs probably has the best matchup against the deck, though. Which, it probably has one of the best matchups against Prophecy. This deck has a good matchup against everything. I was talking about playing Rabbit with Soul Drain in it. This deck, I am afraid of it. But I'll probably go back to playing Frog Monarchs when these decks come out, because it's the only deck I can afford that can stand up to the... Oh, Mermails right now, I'm just going to try to say this. It might change. I mean, I can't predict the future, but I don't think they'll be much against anything, considering how good this deck is. So, that's pretty much this video. It's kind of important Frogology, because this is a big thing going on. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Tachyon is going to be the ender of the world. But actually in Tachyon, the Chibi guys aren't coming out yet. We call them the Chibi guys. It's the little dragons. So the Elemental Dragon deck isn't out yet. But yeah, I should have put that probably more to the beginning of this video, because someone's gonna think like the Elemental Dragon deck doesn't exist right now. But the Elemental Dragons are still retarded broken. So yeah, that sums up this video, guys. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up. This was Yu-Gi-Oh! 7 by YouTube.